President Cyril Ramaphosa claims he has encountered more challenges during his tenure than his predecessors did. At the beginning of his tenure, Ramaphosa promised a new dawn for South Africa. We take a look now at whether the sun is shining on his labor. Sandile Swana is a political analyst. He joins us now for that conversation. Thank you very much, sir, for your time this afternoon. Let's take a listen at what the president had to tell members of the media a few days ago in terms of this.
The period that I became president has possibly become the most challenging period that any president in democratic era has ever faced. No other president has gone through or has faced the challenges that not only I face, but the whole country faces.
Sandile Swana, Nelson Mandela had it easy, Thabo Mbeki shot the breeze, Jacob Zuma are smooth. Is that a fair assessment?
Tutuzile and your viewers, what President Ramaphosa is preparing to do right now is to put us through another 5-year round of undiluted propaganda, misinformation, and total disinformation. What he has said is misleading and totally untrue.
In what sense?
First of all, when Mandela, together with his first deputy, there were 2 deputies, de Klerk and Thabo Mbeki, but we'll talk from an ANC point of view and say it was Mandela and Mbeki. Number one, in 1985, P.W. Botha put the country into junk status. So when Mandela took over power, he took an economy that was already in junk status. Not only was the economy in junk status, the national treasury was bankrupt. Not only that, the year from 1990 to 1994, more people had been killed through political violence than the entire period of the apartheid struggle and the apartheid struggle. The country was divided along racial lines. The country was divided along ethnic lines. For instance, the Zulus versus the rest of the South Africans, more especially the Xhosas, and so on and so forth. By 1998, in August 1998, the prime interest rate was about 25.5%. Prime. Today, prime is probably around 11, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere there, 6%, 7%, around those levels. But 25%. I had a business loan. I was paying close to 28% in those years, 1996 and so on, 1998. So, Cyril Ramaphosa is mistaken, he's misleading the nation, and he should not be saying what he has been saying. And we will come to the reasons why he has failed to the degree that he has. But he has failed on his own, not because of circumstances.
Let's get into some of those reasons and take a listen at what he had to tell us about why the state has failed, or he has failed.
The other day I was counting the various challenges. They came to about 14 that have really been so huge as to impede our way to move forward. State capture, none of my predecessors dealt with. And state capture, in more ways than one, really broke down the capability of the state in a variety of ways, to a point where various institutions of state, having been broken down, could not function as they should have.
Sandile Swana, here we are again. State capture, state capture, state capture.
Again, this is another misguided idea that the president is articulating. First of all, the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, was the chairman of the deployment committee of the African National Congress from the year 2012. So everything that was put into the state to loot state resources and to misdirect the organs of state, was chosen under the chairmanship and placed in the state by him. So those people that he calls state capture people are his people. Some of them he admitted, for instance, Brian Mulligan, as one of the people that he personally put into Transnet. Coming to what Thabo Mbeki and Mandela had to face in the realm of what you might call state capture. Remember that the state that Thabo Mbeki and Mandela inherited was divided into several Bantustans. So, for instance, in order to constitute the government of the Eastern Cape, you had to incorporate 100% of the Republic of Ciskei, Republic of Transkei, and form Republic of South Africa and form one province called the Eastern Cape. The corruption of the Matanzimas and the Sebes was incorporated into the province of the Eastern Cape. And then it was combined with the corruption of apartheid together with the corruption of the communists. And Thabo Mbeki had to manage through that and manage successfully through that. Every province, KZN, till today, some of the people who are in the state, overstaffing and everything else, came from merging KwaZulu by force, physical force, and the province of Natal in order to form the KZN that you have today. So the apartheid operatives were there. The Bantustan operatives were there in the state that Thabo Mbeki was running. There was a form of state capture. The owners of the state, the previous owners of the state, did not disappear. They were there, and Thabo Mbeki had to operate a state that was run by his enemies and succeed.
So the president speaks of a state that has been captured and a state that has no capacity. When we speak about the capacity of the state, why is it so important to capacitate the state when we speak more so about changing the lives of the majority of the people in this country? Every other day we were speaking to a union that is against the privatization of some ports in the country. You take a look at Eskom, we speak of privatization somewhat. Privatization seems to be swirling, and with some sectors of society arguing that that is not a way of addressing or redressing some of the problems that have plagued this country.
There are problems that have rapidly been becoming problems of this country. For instance, you can talk about Eskom, Transnet as an example. The problems at Eskom are first and foremost ANC problems. That institution, including electricity for all was started around 1986 to provide electricity for black people and so on, long before the ANC was around. Employment equity, equality of employment, equal employment opportunities, introduction of black people into all positions at Eskom was started around 1986, etc., etc. And Eskom was a world-class, a well-beating organization, until the ANC made Eskom its wallet, where it could go and take money at any time of the day. So that is the problem at Eskom. So when Eskom has got no capacity, it is because the people who had capacity to run Eskom were removed by the deployment committee of the ANC. And an assortment of criminals installed there under the chairmanship of Ramaphosa to destroy Eskom by stealing more money than necessary, if ever there is such a thing. And the same thing happened at Transnet. Every other institution that is talking about privatization has first been emptied of capable people, emptied of the hard cash that was there, and every other type of thing was failed. So the problem has been created by a parasite, which is the parasite political governing party, the African National Congress, under the chairmanship of Ramaphosa before he became president. And that pattern has continued after he became president, because we hear from the Zondo Commission, the evidence leader speaking at the University of Pretoria Business School, saying that since the closure of the Zondo Commission, the state has increasingly acquired more and more characteristics of the mafia. And Zondo himself saying that the state is doing nothing to prevent a possible state capture from any other quarter as things stand today.
Let's take a look at what the president said about his decisiveness, indecisiveness. He believes he's quite decisive, especially when it comes to the issue of Eskom.
When I decided that to address our electricity challenges, I needed somebody who would be focused, who would be able to spend every hour of the day, every hour, on just electricity. And I decided that I wanted an electricity minister. I didn't consult anyone. I said, I'm the president, I'm deciding that this is what will work for us. And that's when people said, you didn't consult, you didn't ask us, you didn't come to us. I said, oh, now when I say I want things done, you want to revert to that system that you said you didn't like of too much consultation. So there are moments when, yes, you've got to be able to take decisions and move on. There are moments when you've got to consult.
Sandile Swana, your report card of the president in terms of his work so far has not been favorable. Does he at least get a star for solving or attempting to solve the issues at Eskom?
No. Eskom has actually deepened during Ramaphosa's time. He has not been able to take short-term measures necessary, and he has failed. So the appointment of the Minister of Electricity is 5 years late. Ramaphosa took power in 2018. 5 years down the road, he appoints a Minister of Electricity. If you go to UCT or go to any top university, they'll tell you that by 2018, all solutions were on the table. They were known. What needed to be done was known. And it didn't take those decisions.
Thank you very much for your time. We'll let you go. We can hear that there are other people competing for your attention. Sandile Swana is a political analyst.